It's time to chill out, get your coffee, and get your slip on. This is the Fortean Slip Daily Dose.
Oh, that kid went on a fucking hoot of a fucking adventure. No, trust me, that drug would fucking make you, like, go further than you've ever gone in a masturbatory rage.
And then they see this UFO or whatever it is, this diamond-shaped thing. So, and then 3 helicopters come whizzing in and everything takes off.
I don't know if I buy it, motherfucker. Did Bigfoot come out and tickle somebody's balls? Alright, you hooligans. Fortean Slip Daily Dose starts now. Hello, and welcome to the Fortean Slip Daily Dose. This is episode 3. The Call Me Now for your free Mothman reading episode. I was thinking about the Mothman story earlier today. I don't know why, because I was cleaning. That's why I'm recording so fucking late. I started cleaning up in here and holy shit, it just turned into a complete douching of this little closet area that I'm set up in. But everything looks wonderful. Looks great. Absolutely fucking spotless. But yeah, I was thinking about the Mothman and prediction of future events. Whether or not I buy into that sort of thing. Or is it happenstance? I don't really know. But I thought I'd share a couple of experiences that I had with you. As far as the Mothman goes, I don't know if I've said this on the show or not before. I got into the Mothman when I was real young. I think I was in the 4th grade. And there was the teacher that I had in the 4th grade, she had a bookshelf in the back of the classroom. It's like one of those 4-tier bookshelves filled with books for the kids to read. And one of the books had a bunch of different, like, mysterious, strange stories. There was of course, the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot sighting. There was a Thunderbird sighting where the Thunderbird had come down and picked up a kid. I can't remember if in that story took off with the kid or what, but anyway. So one of the stories in there was the Mothman, the Point Pleasant sightings of the Mothman. But in that book, they didn't go into any of them being the herald of doom or prophesizing, tragic events to come or anything like that. I don't know why those things immediately just grabbed my attention. I mean, they're fantastical stories and everything. I was always into, like, The Hobbit and shit like that. My dad got me into that real young. The old, oh god, that god-awful fucking cartoon over real shit they tried to do with the original Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. It was, oh god. I remember my father just being all psyched about it because he was really into that when he was young. He even had a knife that he had made that he called Sting. I thought that was pretty fucking funny later on in life. Yeah, so I just gravitated to these stories. And one of them, the Mothman, and I believe in there the story that they shared was the one where the kids were chased in the car. And the way the thing was described, the big glowing red eyes and, flying along with the car. And then I think when they had gotten home, they saw it in this story, in this book, they had gotten to their house and they saw the thing like behind their vehicle after they were like trying to get into the house. But it just grabbed my attention, of course later on grew up, and I never read John Keel's book, but I did see the movie, which made me, of course, look a little more into the subject matter. And I think it's some pretty interesting stuff. There's definitely some back history on mythical creatures like this. But, as far as seeing the fucking future, I don't know if it's a faith-based thing. I don't know if it's a perspective thing. I mean, I used to read tarot cards, and I can tell you reading tarot cards, it's not about reading the future. It's about reading the people, their responses, and their body language. It's very, it's a very interpersonal thing. Yeah. Is it divining the future? I don't presume to say that. One instance I had that I wanted to share, it was a long, long time ago. I was young. I had to have been freshman in high school, maybe 8th grade, I don't know. And I was playing hooky from school, sitting home. But the night before, I had this dream that this kid that I had gone to school with, he had left school. He was a Jehovah's Witness. I had a dream that he showed up at my house. And I'm sitting there at the house the next day, because I had the dream that night, the night before. And I'm sitting at the house, I'm just dubbing, watching TV. My parents are at work. I was definitely a fucking one of those, what you'd call latchkey kids. Parents are not at home. I come home, and for a long time. I explained that to my daughter once, and she was like, "Did your parents love you?" I was like, "I guess. It was the time." But the fucking guy showed up. They were Jehovah's Witnesses, and he showed up at the house to, try and preach the good word. I was in shock. And I never said anything to him, like, right there in the moment. I'm pretty sure I just dodged it all and was like, yeah. But it really struck me, and I held on to it for a real long time. The brain is a weird thing, so I don't presume to say that experience is a quote-unquote real experience. So I know in my mind that sequence of events happened, that I had that dream, and then that happened. Whether or not the two are interconnected, I can't presume to know. I'm not that fucking omniscient, able to look at things. I'm brought back to the Mothman Prophecies movie. In that movie, he goes to see this professor, and they were talking about, the Mothman, and the guy points up to a window washer on a building, and he says, "You see that window washer up there? If an accident happens 4 or 5 blocks away, he'll see it. We won't." Now, does that mean that he has some, like, mythical ability? No, but he has a different perspective on the world. So, I don't know. I've had a lot of weird experiences that make me question things, but I don't know, and I'm a very skeptical person. So, even though I've had weird experiences, I still have a rational mind that tries to wrap its head around it. Whether or not that dream was anything, I don't know. Now, another thing that happened to me, which was really kind of odd, and a sordid fucking drug abuse past, and I try to be fairly honest about it, because it's part of me. It's never going to go away. And try to explain to people, that don't understand that you'll always be an addict, and it just doesn't register. Like, I beat drugs, but there always is that thing there in the back of your head, and you have to deal with it every day. But when I was real young, I can remember having these strange little visions. I was, extremely young, like 4 or 5 years old. Like, I can remember just sitting at the little round counter we had in the little, it was kind of like a peninsula island that was in the house that we lived in, and it had a little low table for us kids to sit around. My parents never really sat at it, but We did. And sitting there one day, I can remember, but I used to have this little vision thing all the time, or what seemed to me like a vision, because it seemed like a dream, like I would kind of go away. Like I said, rational guy, I'm sharing something that I remember as happening. And in this, I would, this little dream, I would see a movie. It was kind of like a movie, like if you'd watch a movie on a reel-to-reel, and when the picture flips, and it's flipping and flipping and flipping, and then all of a sudden it comes into, frame. Everything, that's flipping, and then boom, then all of a sudden it's a moving picture. Well, so it's kind of like that, and then it's these two kids, I'd say teenagers, sitting on a bench, and one of them turns to the other one and says, "You want another hit?" And at the time, they were doing those drug awareness commercials on TV. This was the early 80s. Maybe late 70s, because I would have been, no, I would say early 80s, 80, 81, somewhere around there. But there's that big, those advertisements on TV, for, "I learned it from watching you, and this is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs, man." So as a kid, I equated it to those commercials. I was like, oh, that's my dream. It's kind of like one of those commercials. And then at the age of like fucking 14, years later. Oh yeah, and there was this echo. This really weird fucking echo. In the dream / vision, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So then I'm age 14. I got into, I always kind of smoked pot, and I've never considered pot to be, I've never considered it to be the drug that destroyed me, or took, the gateway drug. The other drugs were the ones that fucking really fucked me up. But at one point in time, I thought it was a good idea to huff gas. Thankfully, not for a very long time, and not very many times. But there was this one night I was doing this. I was huffing fucking gas in the baseball field, sitting on a bench with a buddy of mine. And I had taken a fucking woof off that fucking can, and I blacked out. When I came to, it was like the flipping of a movie screen. And when it settled, I turned and I looked at Mark, the guy I was with. I won't say his last name. And he said, "Do you want another hit?" It freaked me out so bad. Like I've never had a deja vu moment, or a moment in time like that freak me out like that had in that moment. It freaked me out where it frightened me. It scared me. It made me, on a visceral, primal level, run. I got up and ran. I ran so fucking hard and so fast, and I was so fucked up, I ran into a tree in the woods. I took off into the fucking woods and literally smacked into a fucking tree. And he came running after me to fucking get me. And he was like, "You all right? Everything all right?" And I couldn't even explain it to him. Couldn't even fucking describe what had just happened. It didn't even register in my head for the longest time. For a couple of days. Like, I fucking couldn't even process it. But, like I said, do I know what that is? Or was that some vision of the future? I really don't know. I know that to me it happened. It only means anything to me because it's mine. And if anybody's heard me ever talk about spirituality or anything, I'm a firm believer that your spirituality is your own. I personally don't, it's not that I don't share or I won't share, but I don't feel the need to have my faith be with other people because I think it's personal. But yeah, do I buy into prophetic dreams, or pathetic dreams as they were? I've had some pretty pathetic dreams. God. Oof. Could I tell you some fucking stories there? But I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. I don't know if... I just got done telling you that I had these experiences. And I don't know that I buy it. I don't know that I see it as a real thing. I just know that it happened to me. And it freaked me out. And it made me look at things differently. You be the judge, I guess. Is this a fucking MK Davis video? You don't get to, like, see a picture or a video, and I'm not going to tell you to, you know, look at this area, and I'm not going to enhance it. But come to your own conclusions. I'm Chris York. This has been episode 3 of the Fortean Slip Daily Dose. Like this shit. Subscribe. Say hi. Tell me to fuck off, I don't care. Some guy wrote the other day on one of the videos, "This is the most horrible show ever." Okay. I could point you out to, like, at least 20 shows that I know are way worse than this.